Hello everybody, welcome back to Leeton. My name's Jace. So if you've been following the channel, you will know that we have two parts to the plot, to the veg plot. The upper part and the lower part. And the lower part is this bit down here, which has been featuring on most of the videos so far. This part is the upper part, and we call it upper and lower because there's a good 4 or 5 feet difference in height between them. Now, most of the lower part has either got things planted in, or the empty spaces are reserved for plants that will be going in the near future. So it's time to start putting a few bits in up here as well. Now, as you can see, it is a bit of a storage yard because we are renovating the house. We've got a lot of materials, we've got wood under that tarp, we've got piles of bricks, we've got all sorts of things. There's sheds that have got to be removed, that one in the corner, and then these two metal sheds, they will also be coming out at some point. But that area of grass here, we cleared at the weekend, and I've cut it, and I've got a few pallet collars, and I'm going to set one of them up today to grow beans in. You know, we're in May now. Get some beans out, some climbing beans. I never plant them before May because they just don't seem to do anything if you do. But what I'm going to do is start a no-dig pallet collar raised bed there, which ultimately will come out. That will be quite a big flower bed, or sorry, a vegetable bed there. Well, this whole area is going to be divided up into beds with grass paths between. That's the ultimate end goal, but for now I can set up a pallet collar raised bed where there will be a proper bed in the future, and that isn't then a waste of time. It's not a waste of compost and everything else, and it means I can get my beans planted in, sown. So that's what this video is about. Okay, so no dig is probably the easiest way to garden, in my opinion, and it is what it says. You're not digging the soil over, you are literally putting compost on the ground and growing in it. Now, when you start a no-dig bed, obviously weeds and grass and things can grow through that compost. So one of the best ways to deal with that is with cardboard. Put cardboard down first, and then your compost. So we recently bought a mirror, got a big piece of cardboard that I'm going to sort out, take off the tape, the plastic tape, I don't want that in the ground, and lay it out, and then put the pallet collar on the top. That took me a few minutes, nothing more. And all you do now is put your compost in. Now, this is the disadvantage with no dig. The initial setup cost in compost is significant. I'm going to probably have to put about 15 or 20 pounds worth of compost in here to make it a viable bed. But after that, every year, probably one bag would do this. So that's what we're going to do. And when you just tip the compost in, it's quite fluffy, and before you plant anything in it, I'd recommend just giving it a bit of a tamp down. And I find a rake best tool for this. So the way I like to set up canes for growing beans is at an angle like this. Punch through the cardboard. And then the next one go here. And by having them like this, the beans, the actual bean themselves, hang down, which makes it easier to pick than having the canes like this, then they're hanging down on the inside. By doing them like that, they hang down on the outside, making it easier to harvest them. Sure, there might be some in here, but I can reach in and get them. Okay, so that's the basic structure. What I need to do now is pull these into position at the angle that I want and tie them together. And to tie them together, I like to use 100% cotton string, because if I do drop any in the garden, it just rots away. So now I've got them set up like this, I want to add a cane this way. To get all the angles at the same height, and also to give it stability like this, because it keeps these at a set distance apart, about 100 millimeters, 4 inches, something like that. Do. Okay, so that's the structure pretty much finished. I've got my cross piece there keeping them apart. They're pushed into the ground at that sort of angle, and I've put in these diagonals as well, go in opposing ways like that, all tied, which gives it some strength this way. And because of where we live, we get some really strong winds from the southwest coming, and it's in this direction. Got shelter that way by the shed, but I want to put some reinforcing in this way, because when these plants have grown and all this is like a solid wall of green, there's a lot of surface area there for the wind to act upon, and it could push all of this over. So I'm going to do bolt and braces and put an extra strong stake there. Okay, so all that's left to do is actually plant beans. So I'm going to sow a climbing French bean, Blue Lake, grown these before, very nice, and good cropper. And I'm just going to put one about 2 inches deep next to each cane. I'm not going to go too mad on the watering because I think it's going to rain. Okay guys, thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please hit the thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.